What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got some work to get done because as you guys know the motor is still not in the EP3, but I promise you guys by the end of today's video that motor will be sitting inside of this engine bay. I'm gonna try my hardest. My dad and brother are both not home right now. They're still at work, so I'm gonna try my best to do my first ever motor install by myself. As you guys know, I still have to put on the transmission. That way I can get this front mount and this rear mount on before putting it in the car, because that'll make it a lot easier to get the subframe on. And I don't want to have to put the motor mounts on while it's in the car because they sit super close to the radiator down here and just make it kind of a pain. So I figured it's definitely easier to put them on before we put the motor in the car. So that is going to be the first step, is getting on this transmission, which I have to pull out real quick, onto that motor, and then we can go. Wish me guys luck. I'm gonna bring you guys along with the process and let's see if we can get this motor in today. As I mentioned to you guys a few times, this car is going from the 6-speed LSD transmission that was in it to just a basic 5-speed non-LSD transmission. I just got it out. A little bit out of breath still, but this is it. Nothing fancy going on here. Goes perfectly with the motor that has also nothing fancy going on. So let's see if we can get these two to become one and then start finally getting this motor in this car. Just like that. It's on, I just gotta bolt it back up. That's kind of a pain. Okay, so we have the transmission on. It's fully bolted up. I got all the 17 millimeters around the perimeter of it. There's 2 on the back side, 2 on the top, and then 1 that goes through the starter into the transmission. Now that we got that on, we can go ahead and get the front motor mount that goes to through this bolt, this one, and then this one as well. And then the back side, I'm pretty sure it goes into these 2 right here on the bottom of the transmission. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's where it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and take them off this motor. You can see the one is right there. That's the rear one. And then we got the front one right down there. So that's gonna be the next step. And then we're gonna go ahead and begin to kind of figure out how to get in the motor or into the car by ourselves. We'll figure that out in a second. But let's finish this thing up. Let's get these 2 mounts on, and then, so I was correct. The rear mount goes through these 2 holes, and then also this top one's a nut and bolt. I did not see this one, but it's this one, these 2, and then this whole mount pulls off, and then this is actually what hooks to the subframe. That's what that bolts to. And then the front mount does the same thing, but just on the front side of the subframe. So, oh, nice and loose. This bolt belongs in the garbage. There's like no threads on that thing. Definitely gonna be getting a new one for the motor mount when I put it on the other motor. But we have this one off. It's the final piece to get on the other motor before we can throw it in. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then, like I said, begin getting the motor in there, seeing what we can do. Alright guys, I'm going to tell you the way that I'm about to get this motor into the car. If I was you, I advise not to do this at home because it is a little sketchy, but we've done it many times, so I have a pretty good idea of how we do it. But basically I'm going to lift the car up by the frame, just the front of the car, off the quick jacks, and then just get it up high enough just so I have enough room to get the motor underneath the car. And then I'm going to lower the car all the way down to the ground, bolt the motor up here, 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 and here, and then these two nuts as well, and then pick the car back up with the motor. A lot easier said than done, especially by myself, but we're gonna get to it and see if, or I'm gonna see if anything goes wrong, to be honest. So wish us luck and enjoy watching this process. Alright guys, first things first, I need to get the jack underneath of the car in the position that I want it in. Like so. It really doesn't matter which side you pick it up from, but as long as you pick it up from the right spot. So I'm gonna make sure everything is positioned right and where I want it. And you will see the car begin to go up. Don't worry, it's gonna look sketchy, but like I said, we've done this before. Just gotta get it up enough to clear the motor. Almost there. That should be enough. This is where it's sketchy. It's just letting it sit there. Oh, this thing's heavy. Oh my goodness. And I do not want to go underneath the car, obviously, while it's got this setup going on. Oh man, this thing's way heavier than I thought. Spin it this way, and then as long as it's clear, that's all that matters. Whew, almost there. Like I said, do not try this at home. It is definitely not the best way to get a motor in. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright. Now, let the jack down very, very slowly and carefully. Woo. So far, so good. Alright. Alright, sketchy part's over. It's good, we got it. Now, make sure everything perfect. Okay, we're good. Now, the easy part. Alright guys, as you can see, the motor is under the car. Obviously it's gonna have to shift one way or another, front, back, side to side. But we have to get it to line up perfectly in all of these holes at the same time while dropping the car, while moving the motor, all by myself. It's doable, but it's gonna take a lot of back and forth, you know, checking, moving, going down, checking again. So it's gonna be a long process, but I do think we can get it. I was mainly worried about the thing I just did with getting the motor underneath the car. It definitely scratched up the floor quite a bit. That motor was a lot heavier than I anticipated with the transmission on. I've never moved a motor by myself. That was, definitely took the wind out of me. Especially because I was trying to do it all in like a timely manner, making sure, because obviously having the car up like that is not ideal. But let's see if we can get this thing in. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. Alright, first things first is we have to lower the quick jacks down as much as possible. You have to bring them all the way up. Come kick these little things out. One over on this side. That allows it to slide past this little lock thing and then go all the way down. But now that we did that, we can lower the motor down as much as we need to start and getting this motor bolted up. Sorry, lower the car down as much as possible, and then so we can start getting this motor bolted up. Sorry guys, I know I'm all over the place. As you can see, it goes down. And like I said, I'm gonna have to do this slowly to make sure we don't hit anything. So far, so good. And you can see back there, it's gonna hit those lines, the brake lines, in a second. And then I'm gonna scoot it forward a little bit. All right, we got it scooted forward a little bit more. Gonna continue to go down. That's just the quick jacks. It's gonna hit the same spot again. So move it forward a little bit more. And maybe a few more times and we should be good. We got about a foot or so from this motor mount to where it bolts up to on the motor. So far. Alright guys, that last clip was filmed about 2 hours ago, and yes, I'm not even kidding. I was battling with getting the motor in for 2 hours. I just finished getting it in. I decided to put the camera down and just really focus on getting it in because that was an absolute pain to do by myself. Luckily, my dad got home right as I was finishing and was able to help me get the last bolt on the motor mount. But that was one of the hardest things I've done by myself. I'm not even gonna lie. It took 2 hours of battling, moving, and then I had to get this piece off the other motor and then try to get it onto the transmission while inside the car, and that was a pain. Getting, you know, actual little holes to line up on each side at the same time was a pain, and lowering the car and moving everything all simultaneously was probably the hardest part, but we did it. No other work tonight, I'm not gonna lie. I am beat after that. So tomorrow I will begin putting everything back on, starting with the exhaust and all that stuff and the subframe. But the rest is easy compared to what I just had to do. So definitely by end of tomorrow's video, the motor will definitely be put all back together. The car will be on the ground and I will be able to get fluids back in it, and it should start up, and then we can get rid of this thing because, man, I am done. That just ruined my whole mood, I'm not even gonna lie. Anyways guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I promised you guys that I would get the motor in, and I did. It took way longer than I thought. It was much more of a pain doing it by yourself. Definitely take things for granted when working on cars. But if you guys did like the video, please make sure to drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.